Good morning, Rabbi Isai. What an emotional day. The amount of people that reached out the entire day, showing Hakar Satoiv, showing love. It was unbelievable. While Shir was going on, people were grabbing and chopping, and it became like a whole. By the time the Hebrew Shir, came around, there's not a lot left. So I want to say Yishur Koyach. Just real quickly, I'm not going to read any names today. One of the things that really got me yesterday was that our own employees, people that take a salary from us, they called in and said, maybe you can take off every month. The next thing I want a Amud, I want a Parsha. 2 people that work for us took Parshias, and one of them during this year, Gary Ben Moshe, during Shir, took a Parsha. And Sal Gans took a Parsha. Ariel, our editor, Israeli guy, took an Amud. Kobe, the editor, took an Amud. Avremi took an Amud, right? Yeah. So it's very, very, very meaningful and very emotional. So here are the charts. Chumashim are all taken. The Eitz Chaim, the mantle, both mantles are taken. The Parshiyos, I believe there are 7 Parshas left out of 54 in one day, even including, I think the ones in the middle are like specialty Parshas. They come with an added cost. There's some for 3,600, some for 50, like the Torahs and that stuff, Bereshis, all taken also by an employee, one of the employees. Ben Evi Rodnik. Oh! And then Amudim. This is the list of Amudim so far. The Psukim and words, all in 24 hours. And Be'ez Hashem, the goal is to get every single person that was influenced or touched by MDY to at least take a word, to have that achtos, to have that. Some people took for their wives, for their kids, a word per each, a pasuk for each. Very, very chashuv. This is just a partial list, by the way. This is just 1 page per thing, and there's more to come. So a tremendous yishkoyach. If you want to see again what it is, a word, a pasuk, an amud, a parsha. There's no parshas left. Especially a what? The arsam?
No, I think all the parshas are gone.
Chumash are gone. I'll tell you this, the inside thing. So once David Kreinberg jumped up in middle shir and said that the chumash is, one of the chumashim is his, I think Bereshis. So there was a whole debate between the chevra. Okay, we have to raise the price. Obviously, it's too cheap. So they said, okay, we're going to raise the price. But then they felt that the next guy is going to be hurt or insulted, so they just kept it at there. And people said, no, you should have. We would have paid more. He said, no. It is what it is. So Yashris before money. Okay, great. On MDY's cheshbon. It was what a gift. It's like a win-win-win-win situation. It's a matzav of achtos, a matzav of it's like the perfect gift for a siyum hashas. It's unbelievable. What? Turning the almond in a sefer Torah?
Rolling of the almond. Scrolling of the almond.
All right. And just to explain, it's a smaller Sefer Torah, travel size. It'll go around the world with us, wherever MDY goes, to Shabbaton or to wherever it is. And I told them, I said, it'd be cool if we could, because during this past trip, I said if we could take the Sefer Torah that we brought on the trip, but just unscrew the handles for Hagva, the top and the bottom. And then we found there is such a thing. Yesterday, somebody sent in, Mamash, the whole design, it's a thing that they sell even. So it's geshmak, it fit in. All right, one more thing I want to jump. So as you know, we have 33 satellite locations here in Eretz Yisrael, and a bunch, maybe even the same amount throughout the world and in America. I don't know the exact number. Over here, they're super active, and all the heads of the satellite, they got together yesterday in Benny's house. That's Moshe Cohen. That's Akiva. So what I learned from there is it's unbelievable. It's the willpower. Willpower is what differentiates between, because 7 locations closed, 33 remain. And there was a guy there from Avi Yusufov. What's his name? Yusufov. From Petach Tikva. He, many days, we used to we put him on Zoom and he'd be sitting by himself. Day after day. Then he had one person, a blast would go there. So there'd be 2 people many times, 1 person. And suddenly something happened, during the beginning of Chullin, and now he has minimum 10 people a day. And it's the willpower, it's just sticking it out. And you see the people that are into it, some people have literally 40 people a day. A day. Neve Yaakov and Haifa, and just the head, they didn't want it, but they fell into it. And one guy, the guy from Haifa, somebody said, could you open up the shul? Just a night, and then you could go home. So he opened up, he says, yeah, but you got to bring the screen. A whole mice, he wasn't allowed. He ended up, they fooled him into being the head, and he's like one of the top guys now. He has literally 30, 40 people every single night. So, kol hakavod to them, and anybody could open up a satellite location around the world, and you have to have willpower. You can't give it to somebody else to do, you have to do it yourself. And a gewald. The official edition Shas is sponsored by Zevin Yal Shulhoff, Daf Lamed Vav, Elaine Lance, Hannah, and Sarah Solar, dedicated to Rebelli, Yossi, Mark, Benny, and the entire Daf team. Yishur Koyach. Where? Oh, Yishur Koyach. Shalom Aleichem. How are you? Is that guy with you or no? What's your name also? What? I have it here. Yeah. Yishur Koyach. Yeah, I know. I'm going through. I'm getting back to him. Don't worry. Avromi Wadler. L'chvoid Rebelli, thank you for helping me steig and change the lives of thousands of Yidden for the better. You're telling Avromi Wadler. That's how you pronounce your name? Yeah. Wow. The locksmith. Geschmack stuff. Shkoyach. Okay, so let's get back to you. Rabbi Sol, what's your deal? You've been here a bunch of times.
Yeah, I'm here at least once every week, once every 2 weeks.
Every day.
I'm going to be setting up a satellite location in Modi'in, and the Mitzvah in the next 2 weeks we'll start running.
Wow. You spoke to Benny about it?
Yeah, I've spoken to Benny.
Oh, Givaldik. Now, there's a guy that gives out screens. We found out that we didn't even know that he lives in America. And if you buy the screen, if somebody else gives it, he gets very, very upset. He's very territorial about his screen. So you better go through Benny and the whole thing to get the screen. You can't. The screen has to come from him. He has to have the schus in screens. What's his name again? Ruben. Yaakov Ruben, maybe? Okay. Shkoyach for coming. Shkoyach for the dedication. David Salomon, dedicated memory of Avimoy Shmuel Baruch Ben Reb Chaim Tzvi Doiv. The Palachik Family Foundation, gratitude to the consortium and the Alliance and all they do to support MDY. Anonymous, that's Brooklyn's Begashmas, thank you to Chief Benny. Anonymous for a complete refuah shleiman, Arichas Yom to Leah Bas Esther. I taina that the most expensive thing in the Sefer Torah, Rabbi said, what's the most expensive thing in the Sefer Torah? Ko'ele. This should be at least $45,000 minimum. Anybody want to buy Ko'ela? Raffling it off right now. Binyamin and Danielle Rosenfeld.
Says it's Ko'ele.
Yeah, okay.
According to him, it's only $10,000.
Somebody asked me. Somebody took it.
Rabbi, what was the baby's name?
I already heard it late.
Oh, Steinman. Yeah, wow.
Shver came here.
Oh, that's your Shver. What's your name, Shver?
Yirmiyahu Abramoff.
Oh, from Or Sameach?
Many years ago, but yes.
Where are you now?
There in the Elef.
Nel Elef. Givaldi. Wow. Shkoyach for coming. It's a big schus. The pressure is on. Okay, Anonymous. The Sech Anonymous, you're in complete refuah shleiman, Arichas Yom to Leah Bas Esther. You should have a lot of nachas from your son, from the grandson. Beyond Daniel Rosenfeld, Brius for Simcha. You should steig to be greater than Rabbi Leib Steinman. Ari Simon, refuah shleiman, Avi Moiri Baruch Ben Miriam. Anonymous, refuah shleiman for Yeruchim Ben Yehudis and Avrom Yishayev and Slava Dvora. Amen. The Spanish Shir sponsors, Mazel Tov. You're not going to believe this. A guy is opening up in Ramat Daled a Spanish satellite location. The shir in Spanish, I'm not joking. You'll see the shir in Spanish.
No, Noam has a Russian one in his basement.
No, not even. Mazel tov to the MDY family on this incredible Sefer Torah initiative. Oh, the Spanish shir sponsors. Mazel tov to the MDY family on this incredible Sefer Torah initiative. May Torah keep growing across the world and in Spanish-speaking communities. Amen. Shmuel and Ahuva Schuster in memory of Hayalda Shendel Hertzberg Oleh Hashalom. Yomi Shoner learning from Robert Early with gratitude to Hashem for everything. Mayor and Chai Rivka Fischel in honor of Yossi Deutsch of Chosen Concierge for the idea to... Oh! Yeah, there's such a thing. Sorry. Chosen Concierge for the idea to give Rebelli the silver Peter Maktaris. It is a great idea. I told, okay, I'm not going to say it out loud. We'll wait a few hours because there's some... Okay, what? Okay, no, let me show you. Filter mamish. Yeah. No, I gotta be careful. So Nachmal Yossi Deutsch, Chazen Concierge, the gift he gave the idea, silver Pitim Aktaris, Givaldik. Balk family of Englewood, New Jersey, in honor of sponsoring the word Ka'ela. Chutzpah. I didn't read this. I did not read this before. The word Ka'ela and then do I say Torah. Okay, I know it's a joke because you can't sponsor any words. So the Ka'ela word is available. The Balk family has the first dibs on it. Start. Innovations LC has this chus give a simcha ben fegi. He tried to chop it. You saw how he tried to chop it for $180? It's a nice move. Oh, it's $250. You're right, $250. Innovations, I just found that out yesterday. As this chus give a simcha ben fegi. They went up. The price went up from $180 to $250. These sponsors. As this chus give a simcha ben fegi and Rivki Yehudis Bas. You're going to tell me, oh, this is going on for a year. And the way Art month, Refuah Shlema Yonatan Eitan Ben B'Sheva Bracha, Refuah Shlema Mordechai Ben Esther, Refuah Hayeled Daniel Zev Ben Ayelet Esther, Boisai. Here we go. Toshma. The question is, in Reb Shimon Bar Yochai, Reb Shimon Bar Yochai says in the Mishnah that you don't need blood to be machshir a carbon. Again, machshir, if this is your first day, so we'll go back for 5 seconds. Anytime you have produce, meat, fruits and vegetables, they cannot become tameh until one of the 7 liquids touches them to your will. You want it to happen. And one of the liquids is blood. And the Mishnah discusses a case where you shechted an animal and there's no blood. So the Mishnah says you could touch this animal even if your hands are shneim. We're not going to give anybody trauma anymore. We're done with that sugya sheni and shlishi. Yaakov Shweki, Baruch Hashem, is still on. How do I know? Because he left me a message this morning. He says the way you explained sheni and shlishi was phenomenal. I'm still doing it. I'm before a concert. I'm chopping around the daf. So Baruch Hashem is still with us. Encourage him. It's givaldik. So sheni and shlishi, but we're done with that. So what happens if there's no blood? The Mishnah says it's not Makabel Tumah. Reb Shimon Bar Yochai says, yeah, it is Makabel Tumah. Why? Because the Shechita itself is what's machshir. The Shechita itself is like finishes off the job, so to speak. It's a Gemar Malacha, and therefore it's Makabel Tumah. So we had a question. Is it the pshat that it's the Shechita that does it and not the liquid blood? Or it's both? It's the blood and the shechita. And in a situation where there's no blood by the shechita, then the shechita will take care of the hechshel kabel tumah. But if there's dam, so dam is machshir. So we don't know. So where are we holding? Which tashma? Dam, which? Oh, tashma. 10 lines from the bottom. Reb Shimon Omer, dam magifasoi einoi machshir. So to go back, to remind the olam, just a picture, we won't show the whole video. There's 4 types of blood. There's dam, chalalim, all the way on the right. That's from a wound that occurred during killing the animal, not shechita, with an arrow. There's dam magafasi, that's what we're talking about right now. That's from a wound. The animal's still alive, but there's blood oozing out of a wound. And there's blood from a mace that died naturally, not from an arrow, just dropped dead. And then you have dam shechita all the way on the left. Do you want to see it again now to understand it? Maybe. Just to appreciate the... Oh, somebody complained about the music, Taka. Okay. The Rishiva I'll explain to you a different time. Tashmar Reb Shimon Omer, Dam Agifosoi Eri Machsher. My love, it says that the blood from a wound doesn't do Hechsher Lekabel Tuma. My love, Adam Shchita Machsher. We're trying to figure out, does the blood of a Shchita, does that give Hechsher Lekabel Tuma? And it seems like only the blood from a wound, but not the blood of the Shchita. Loi. Adam Chalolim Machsher. Yes, it's a beautiful diuk. It says dam magafasi, the second from the right. And l'chari could argue that it's coming to be medayik, that not dam shchita all the way to the left. He says no, it is to be medayik, only dam magafasi, but not the one right next to it to the right of it, dam chalalim. The one to the left, yes, dam shchita, but not the one to the right. There's different types of blood. Avadam shchita mai, so what are you telling me? So shchita blood all the way to the left is okay, it is machshir. I'm sorry. Avadam shchita mai, loy machshir, it's not machshir. Lishmin dam shchita, v'kolchin dam magifasai. So why does the Brisa talk about the blood of a wound? I'll tell you a much greater chiddush, that even the blood of shchita is not machshir. Says Gemara, dam magifasai, tzrichalei. No, I said it on purpose. So gedai chamino mali katli kulei, mali katli palgo. What's the difference if he's completely dead or half dead? In other words, a wound is like a half dead. I told to a guy yesterday that's going through treatments and everything. I told him that Rabbi Zriel Tauber says that you should tell the Rebbeinu Shalom when you're going through a tzara like that, or you have a wound, a machla, you say, Mali katli palga, mali katli kula. That it should be hirotzen, that it's ki'ilu, like it's the real deal, like it's a real misa. You take it. Hakadosh Baruch Hu could have done worse. You take it as a kapara, and mali kadli kula, mali kadli pula. What's the difference? There's no difference. You tell everybody Shalom. So what's the difference if there's a wound that's the start of? They say. What's the lashon? I'm trying to think. That it's not the pshat when a person dies. It's not the pshat he just died. He just finished dying. Because the day you're born is the first day of your death. It's closer and closer to your dying. Your body starts dying off. That's what it is. So when a person dies, he finally died. Not he just died. It's the end of the death. It's his whole life. He's on the verge of dying. He's going toward the death. It's a great. Yeah, I'm just picking everybody's spirits up. Yishmak. No, but if you think of it like that, it'll give you a little bit of a tzitr. You got to start accomplishing. We're not here forever. We're not here forever. Yossi, what do you want to do? You want to break it up? Here, I'm going to throw it. If you don't catch it, then you can't do it. What do you could I go weiter though? I have to go weiter. So while we'll stop, we'll see how is it going to smell up the room? What's going to happen exactly?
The last one.
I don't put it through him. Past him. Okay. All right. Don't look over there. Umaysh Nadam Chalolim. Rabbi Say, I'll pause there. Yossi K. been smoking for how many years? 28. Today is his first day of starting to live. Then he was going towards his death real quickly. Today you're going to start living. He's stopping to smoke. Yisrael Goldstein, the famous Yisrael Goldstein, the photographer, for the first time in his life, he stopped smoking, vaping yesterday. He's on his day one. Made a whole group. So Yishkoyach, we'll talk about it a little bit more a different time. But a lot of people are taking this seriously. Okay, there's a great book. What is it called? Millions of people stop smoking by this guy. You just read this book. What? No, it doesn't sound. It's a famous book. It helped a lot of people. A guy came over to me yesterday. Then he stopped smoking for 10 years because of that book. Benny stopped smoking because of that book. Okay. Zok the Gemara. Why is the blood of a killed animal, show him again, Dam Chalalim, the guy all the way on the right, the arrow through the head, not a shchita, blood comes out. Why is that blood good for Mukshal Kabal Tumah? D'chsiv, v'dam Chalalim yishta. The lion will drink the blood. So you see, it's one of the mashkim. He's drinking blood. We saw it in the safari. We saw that they drink the blood. They lick it up. Says the Gemara, Dam Shchita Namiksiv Alar Tishbecheno Kamayim. The blood of Shchita is like water. So it's like one of the mashkim. So Dam Shchita should also be Mashal Kabal Tumah in Reb Shimon. Says the Gemara, no. That pasuk is coming to say that when you have a carbon that went wrong, that something happened to it, a mum, so now you cannot shecht it, but you're allowed to benefit from it. You're allowed to benefit from the blood. The Gizav Avodah, they have a special, the Psula HaMikdashim, have an Isser to shear the wool, and you're not allowed to work them, so maybe you have to treat their blood with more respect and bury it. Kamash Mallah, and then not. Okay? Zog the Gemara. The Be'er Ton of the Be'er Yishmael.
They do that for humans. If a human would die, they would take the blood and bury the blood as well.
Yeah, of course. Anytime there's a tragedy and the Zaka comes and they wipe everything up, you have to bury every blood. Sometimes they bury a seat in a car together with it. It's terrible. Yeah. Ton of the Be'er Yishmael. I don't want to turn this shir into like one of the all-time gory shiurim. I rather do have a video that's it's coming up. You might want to look away for the first few seconds. I'll tell you when to look. Oh, yeah. I was so excited about the video. The lion is going to drink the blood of its victims. When you take blood from a living animal, like Hakazas Saddam, you do bloodletting. That blood, and I showed a video, I'm not going to show it today, of in Africa, the people, the Masimara guys, they drink directly from, they take from a live cow and then they drink it, they think it gives them a lot of koyach. That blood is not machshir. That says Roim, the seeds. Torah Rabbanah. Hashaychit v'hitiz, dam aladas. So now we have a beautiful sugya. What happens when a person shechts an animal and the blood goes flying onto a gourd, a pumpkin? Now this pumpkin is truma, and obviously it's not attached to the ground. Rabbi Yomer Huchsher, that blood is good enough for Huchsher l'kabel tuma, and now I have to be concerned that perhaps this gourd became tamei. Rabbi Chia Yomer Toilin, it's like a suffix. So what does a suffix mean? A suffix can mean that you wait it out until a certain time, or a suffix can mean you have to wait until Mashiach comes. There's a suffix forever, and there's a suffix, a temporary suffix. I always, whoever lived in Chicago, when in Chicago, there's on the Vaughan Avenue, there's a restaurant there that had these. This is not from there, but this is what it looks like from this. When you drive by, you see hundreds of these gourds. This is a type of a gourd hanging from the thing. So it's always okay. Dama adlas. Rabbi Yomer Huchsher v'Chia Yomer Toilin. Omer Rabbi Shai. Ma'achash Rabbi Yomer Huchsher v'Rabbi Chia Yomer Toilin. Ono al milis moich. So what should we do? Rabbi says this thing is tummy. It's Mukshal l'kabel tumah. And Rabbi Chia says I don't know what to do. So what should we do? But we should remember all the steps here because the Gemara is going to go through them, what each step means. Let's, what's the Lashon? We don't have a Kedayu Reb Shimon, Lismich B'Shas Atchak. Exactly. Let's be Samech Reb Shimon. What does that mean? Shahoy Reb Shimon Oimer, Shchita Machsheres, V'lo Idam. Rabbi Shimon says he's taking it all the way to the extreme. Rabbi Shimon said that it's the shchita, it's the cutting that gives the hechsher l'kabel tumah to the animal, but not the blood. And what does Rabbi Chia say? Rabbi Chia says, I don't know what to do. In other words, blood over here is not going to do a mukshel l'kabel. It's not going to be machshel l'kabel tumah. L'chayr, this gourd is kosher. So you have two people that say that it's okay. You have Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai that says it's not the blood. So blood that sprays on a gourd doesn't do anything. And you have Rabbi Chia that says, I don't know what to do. So Mela, it's 2 against 1. Rebbe is so convinced that that's machshel l'kabel tumah, it should be tamei this thing. So it's 2 against 1. Oh, Rav Papa. So Rav Papa explains. Hakol moedim heichad isel adam mitchila v'atzoif. Everybody's going to agree that if the blood was on the gourd from beginning to the end, kulam lo pligi isel adam mitchila v'atzoif. Kulam lo pligi the machshir. Then it's obvious that this gourd is mukshel l'kabel tumah. I think Gemara is going to explain. What happened was that the gourd got sprayed with the blood. Right after he cut the first simon, the kana, let's say, spritz, and then he wipes it down, and then he cuts the second simon. So for this we have a video. I would recommend not watching, really. I'll tell you when to watch. A little bit of a shechita here. This is from the shechita that we had. Don't look. Okay, now you can look. Now. So hit a guy that has a gourd for a head. So that's the sugi right there. So a little bit of blood hit the gourd. I had a Maggid Shir that used to say here in Eretz Yisrael, he said, your head is like a kalavasa. Till this day I don't know what a kalavasa is, but I'm assuming it's some sort of vegetable. What is a kalavasa? It is a dlat, it's a type of pumpkin. Okay. Ishcha rosh kalavasa. No, you never heard this lashon? You heard it.
It's a semen for Rosh Hashanah.
Kalavas. Okay. So this is what happened. The blood sprayed him from the first simon. He wipes it down. There's no blood at all. Not like in this picture. No blood at all. And then he cuts the second simon. Rebbe holds that the shchita from beginning to the end, and therefore there's blood on this pumpkin from the beginning of the shchita, and the beginning of the shchita is shchita. V'aydam shchitahu. So Mamela, this pumpkin becomes mukshel l'kabel tumah, and we're going to assume that it's tamei. Rabbi Chia savar eino l'shchita l'basayif. Rabbi Chia holds at this point. This mandama holds that Rabbi Chia holds that there's no the shchita happens at the tail end of the shchita, all at the end. V'aydam makuhu, and therefore this is blood of just a wound. The initial blood that comes out of the kana, it doesn't count. What we care about is the blood at the end. The blood of the wound was wiped away. But here comes a tremendous chiddush. That blood that was wiped away, had you not wiped it away, it would actually turn into blood of shchita once the shchita is over. It would retroactively, if it was there, only if it was there. V'aydam shchitu. So what is he saying? You should wait around? Not for Mashiach. You should wait and see if the blood is there until then the shchita. If the blood is on top of the pumpkin at the end of shchita, machshir, then it turns out, since there's a shchita only at the end, so the blood makkah is not a makkah anymore. The blood makkah is actually part of the shchita, and it has the ability to be machshel l'kabel tumah. But if you remove it, it's a tremendous chiddush. If you remove it, then there's no retroactive on it anymore. You can't say, oh, because at the time that it hit the gourd, it was wound blood, and you removed it. It was only wound blood, and wound blood is nothing.
If you removed it, you showed that you didn't want it there anyway. So it wouldn't be much use.
That I don't know about that. Maybe you wanted it, maybe. But it could be you want the blood for other things. Once it does, you you don't need to want the blood on the pre. That's just something that we learned and we're going to learn. If you want the blood, you want the whatever. Let's say you did want the blood for something else, and it's sprayed on something on that gourd by mistake, it would be chiyutan. It doesn't have to be on every single pre. If I want it, we had it. A guy goes into we had it lamashal by he put his hands in to grab the fruit or whatever it was. We had certain situations where you want the water for something else, but then it hit your fruit. It's too late. That's it. That's good water. Once you want the water, then the water.
Transferred into
It's for Meigi Shaman. If you want the water for Meigi Shaman, and it falls on the fruit, it's also.
Yeah, but what sugya did we have recently about it? We had that sugya in Miksham. Okay.
It's Mukhshir or it's Mukhshir.
I know it's a tough one. You have to. I just want to point this out. Rabbi Chanan Wasserman was sitting and learning the sugya of Yeshna Shchita Mitchila Vatsoif, and somebody came over to him and whispered to him something in his ear, and he got up and he said a bracha. He said Mazel Tov. Basically, he had his son Reb David, and he continued learning. He went right back into the Taisvus. He got up for a minute. He paused. He said whatever he had to say, and he went on. In the sugya of Yeshna Shchita Mitchila Vatsoif, and I heard once, and obviously we don't know the cheshbonis, but somebody pointed out that two of his kids were killed in the war. One of his kids didn't have any children. The only eneklach that Reb Chanan Wasserman has is from this Reb David. He's trying to say, b'schus HaTorah, that he had that concentration. He went on. Okay, just throwing it out there. Says the Gemara. So what does it mean? So according to Reb Chia, he said it is machshir l'kabel tuma at the end of the day. According to Reb Shimon, the blood from shchita doesn't work. It's only the shchita itself. And according to Reb Chia, it is machshir l'kabel. So why are you bringing a right from Reb Shimon? Says Gemara, if you wipe it down and you don't have that initial blood, Reb Chia says it's no good. The blood is no good because it's damaka, and Reb Shimon says I don't hold of any blood that's machshir from shchita. And Mamela, in that case, they're both maskim. Havali Rebbe Chad, Rebbe who says that it is machshir l'kabel is only one against Reb Chia and Reb Shimon who both hold that it's not machshir l'kabel in a case where he wiped it down. Great. This just triggered something that Ein Dvar Shalecha B'Makom Shnayim, that the Brisker Rav was very into teaching his Talmidim that they shouldn't believe every story they hear. It's Chassidish Maisis, So
that also many times.
I say that all my stories at least are Maisis that could happen or almost happen, but they all could happen. So he's once saying a Maisa about a woman who lived in Varsha on this and this street and this address, and she didn't have kids for many years, and she went to the Rebbe, and she begged, pleaded, and cried, and he gave her aftacha, and sure enough, within the year, she had a kid. Then he paused to see what his Talmidim. So one time he says, it's impossible, maybe the shot is it was psychological, maybe this and maybe that, a whole Maisa. And then he looks at the dayan over there, Simcha Zelig, and he says, "No, why aren't you saying it?" He says, "I'm a super if there's even such an address in Varsha, if there's even such a street in Varsha." And the Brisker Rav says, that's what I meant. When you hear a story, you have to first even doubt if there's such a street." So I said this story last night in the shir, and I even said, there's. Because there was a Sephardi there, and he started saying, I said, the Sephardi, they believe everything. The Baba Sali did this, did that. It's 100%. I was there when I was in Morocco. The stories that I heard, the thing, people did this, and he flew out of a cannon, and feathers came out, and this one and that one, and the Nisim. So last night, at this meeting of the satellite location guys, so Moshe Cohen, the owner of Amanot Chen, Chazdei Naomi, it says, by the way, on his status, on his email signature, it says, owner of Amanot Chen, I work at Renochain, but I breathe MDY. That's what it says on this thing. So he got up there and he gave a speech and he says, I want to tell you about Gadlus Ha'adam, about what about Midas rebellious. He said, listen, I left my hat. I flew to the Shabbaton, first time that I was in America in my life, and I left my hat in the Shabbaton, and I called up Mark Ashkenazi, and this and that. They found my hat, and Mark said, don't worry about it. I'll come to you. You'll get it. He says, who? You'll get it. He says, you're not going to believe it. At the end, Reb Eli himself brought the hat, but he first went with the hat to Chicago, then he went to New York, and he was giving shurim everywhere. The anava of this person and the chashivas, godless adam. So I banged on the table. I said, Rabbi Isai, this is what I'm talking about. This is where these stories start. Let me tell you the real story. I come to my room at night, and I put my hat in the suitcase, and I look inside, and it says Moshe Cohen. I stole Moshe Cohen's hat. So what do I do after I steal a hat? I got to give it back to him. The guy's not a Balmidas. He's a Ganav. It went from being a Ganav to Balmidas to the Gadol Adar. What's a beautiful thing. Shtusim. You mamish made up a story out of nothing.
You made up a story that you stole it to hide your evil.
Wow. No, I have Eidim. I have Eidos. Okay, we go right there. Rav Ashi Omar Toilin Loilo Masho. Rav Ashi, so again, so what do we say Toilin means? Toilin means, according to Reb Chia, let's just wait a minute until the end of the Shechita. Let's see if there was a completion of the Shechita. If there's a completion of the Shechita, because I hold that Shechita happens all the way at the tail end. And Memela, here, we had, remember just to show the Rashiva. Does the Shechita begin and end and it's one long process, or it's all the way at the tail end? Remember, you have to watch the gauges very carefully. The top gauge is it's all one Shechita, or boom, the last second. Rabbi Chia says the last second. Memela, if the blood remains there without you wiping it down from the beginning to end, then the last second makes it into a kosher Shechita, and then it turns out that blood was part of the Shechita. If not, it's not. So Toilin means you have to wait for a minute. Rav Ashi doesn't like that. Rav Ashi Yom Toilin Loila Mashma. Toilin means I have to wait until Mashiach comes forever. Why? Because Rabbi Chia had a suffix whether or not he doesn't know that it's Shechita Basoif. He's misubik whether it is or it isn't. So Meilu my Toilin. I don't know what to do until Mashiach comes. So therefore, I cannot eat it because maybe it's truma that's tamei, and also I can't burn it because maybe it's good truma. I'm not allowed to burn truma. So what does it mean? Let me rely on Reb Shimon. Reb Shimon loy machshir, Reb Chia is feiko, but according to Reb Shimon, it's not moshel kabel tum at all, and Reb Chia says it's a suffix. Says Gemara lein sreifa miyushavel adadi. But do you go ahead and burn it? Yes or no? According to Reb Shimon, you don't burn it. Why? It's not moshel kabel tum, and according to Reb Chia, you don't burn it. What about eating it? So according to Reb Chia, you could. I'm sorry. According to Reb Chia, you can eat it because this is a suffix here. But according to Reb Shimon, you could eat it because it's not moshel kabel tuma. So only in the Sreifa department they agree to each other. Both say you don't burn it. Reb Chia says because it's a suffix. Reb Shimon says you don't burn it because it never got any liquids. Blood is not considered a liquid. Havale Rebbe Chaz. Rebbe is the one that says it's moshel kabel tuma. Burn it. And you have two that say don't burn it, so they win. And therefore you have to wait until Mashiach comes to understand whether or not you could eat it or burn it. Boy Reb Shimon Lakish. As Reb Shimon Lakish. Interesting thing happened yesterday. I was in the Koil, and it said Boy Reb Shimon Lakish. So I was like stam hacking, literally hacking, not even being serious. I said, it's interesting that it says over here Reb Shimon ben Lakish, and sometimes it says Rish Lakish, and sometimes it says Reishin Beis Lamed. So I asked the fenster. So he says, oh, look at the Flamates. Over there it has all the things you just described. Like in a second. So I said, no, so he says, and it's not a joke what you're saying. It's actually, I thought about it. And I came up that if you look at it, it's basically because Which one of those forms of the word fit into that line? Sometimes Reish Lamed fits in, sometimes Rish Shimon ben Lakish, sometimes Rish Lakish. He decided it has to do with the printer. Okay. So by Rish Shimon ben Lakish, Sarat Shel Menachas, Moine by Rishon V'Sheni, Ayei Moine by Rishon V'Sheni. 7.5 years ago in Shir, I brought a bunch of flour and I brought oil and I made a mincha. And it's tough. You make a mincha and you're like, the oil is not getting everywhere. And then you have these clumps. You know, like let's call this a clump. What's inside this clump? Flour. Flour that doesn't have any oil in it. That oil never touched the inside. The outside, yes, but the inside not. So the question is, how do we view the flour inside this clump? Is it mukhshal l'kabel tumah or not? Just because the oil touched some of the flour on the side doesn't mean all the flour is mukhshal l'kabel tumah. How do we view this? How you doing? Shukran for coming. So what do you do? Does this have the ability to give off tumah to something else? Or it itself, so the Gemara introduces to us this concept. We might have had it the other day for a split second. But now we're going to discuss chibas HaKodesh. The love of Kodesh the Rebbeinu Shalom has for kachim, and that gives it more abilities. So this piece right over here, this clump of flour. This clump of flour has a special love because it's kachim. So maybe that love stops at a certain place. It itself becomes pasul. We're going to view this as tameh. Lemimne be rishon v'sheni loy, but it doesn't have the ability to impart tumah to something else. Perhaps no. It has the ability to go weiter. As the Gemara is going to describe later, is this a doiraisa? Even if it is a doiraisa, it's tameh doiraisa. How much further could it go? Omar Rebbe Lazar, Toshma. So Rebbe Lazar drops a bomb here. Very hard to understand him. The Gemara is going to attack him immediately. Every food that can be eaten, the only way to make something mukhshal l'kabel tumah is with water. And the story says, black and white, since there's some flour inside this lump that doesn't have water that touched it, that's not mukhshal l'kabel tumah. It has to have some water that's mukhshal l'kabel tumah. He was mechadish. Everybody holds of this. What was his question? I understand what Rebbe Lazar is saying, but nevertheless, Rebbe Shimon had a question. Does the love of the kodesh, the chivas hakodesh, does it give it as if the halach as if water touched it? But Rebbe Lazar has an extra pasuk here to tell us that this is not mekabel tumah. It says if you put water. I'm not going to show you this video. I'm going to show you the first frame, so you remember, right? This is the video of mukhshal l'kabel tumah. It says in the pasuk, and he even says v'chiyuta, and he says funny words over there. V'chiyuta mayim al zera zurua. It says you should put water on top of a seed. So then why does the pasuk say from every food that can be eaten? It's a little extra. It's even on seeds. Lamali, daf lamed vav amud beis. It's coming to exclude this clump of flour that the inside is not mekabel tumah. Says Gemara loy. Oh yeah, it's pasul, but it's not mitama. Says Gemara loy chabet tumas meis v'chabet tumas sheretz. You have an extra pasuk. Rashi just points out real quickly that both psukim are by sheretz. But sometimes when you don't have what to do with the pasuk, we have in okay, let's learn for tumas meis. So let me show you this givaldik video. I like these kind of videos because they're very educational. Because it'll just explain to us one of the two things that we don't see mefurish in the Gemara. Make the volume maybe.
Welcome to the Tuma Kolbo. Here you have everything you need to become Tameh. So we have two main tracks. The long track, Tumas Mace. How much do you need? A kazayas of basar. And you are Tameh for 7 full days. And the Tahara, Haza'ah from the Efer Para Aduma, and then Mikvah. And we have the fast track, Tumas Sheretz. The shear, Kaladasha. How much time? Till the evening.
Lentil.
And that's it. The Tahara, Tevila in a mikvah. No para aduma. So, which track are you choosing?
Okay. So one is talking about Tumas Meis, and one is talking about Tumas Sheretz. Utzrich, and the Gemara says a simple tzrichusa. The Ashmin and Tumas Meis, Hasam the boy Hechsher Mishum Delemitam Bechadasha. If we're talking about the tumah of a dead person, it's severe. Who the boy hechsher? What? No, sorry, it's not severe. You need a hechsher tumah. Why mishum delemitam bechadasha? You need a larger share of the kazayis. We saw in the video. You need a kazayis, the size of an olive, not the size of a lentil. So it's less severe. MMA I have to be machshel lekabel tumah. It's much more sensitive to tumah. You become tummy even when you touch a small lentil piece of a dead mouse. Ema loy hechsher. I would think, okay, it's so severe, so you don't need a mukshel kabel. You don't have to pour water on your fruit in order for them to become tummy. V'yashmin sheretz, and if I just say sheretz, mishum delim tamet tumas shiva. A sheretz is less severe. Why? It can't do tumah for 7 days, only for 1 day. I'm amazed. Tamet tumas shiva. Dead person, you touch a dead person, you tummy for 7 days. Ema loy hechsher. It's so severe, you wouldn't need. Turning of the Daf, sponsored by Adar Global Specialists in International Financial Services, by Chaim Milrad, Lilu Nishmas, Imi Merasi, Pral Eto Bas Yitzchok, Leo Hashalom. Zok the Gemara. Moser Rav Yosef, Reb Shimon Oimer, Huchshur B'Shchita. We said in the Mishnah, and we decided that at least according to one Shita, our Mishnah was talking about Chullin. The whole Mishnah of Chullin, we proved it because it says in the Mishnah Chaya is not in the Beis Hamikdash, Chullin. And Reb Shimon says that the Shechita is what gives the Hechsher L'Kabel Tumah. Huchshur v'afilu min Rishon v'sheni. You become Muchshur L'Kabel Tumah, meaning even to give over, to impart Tumah. Amai v'alav oichla baba maimu. If you have just a Shechita, where's the water? If you're going like Rebbe Lazar, that's mamish. You need water on the food. Where do you have the water here? Amalei Abaya. No. Reb Shimon Bar Yochai was talking about just the Rabbanon. It's a Gzeira. That's why he said that by Shechita it's Mekabel Tumah. Reb Lazar on the other end is talking about Deraisa. You could actually, what's the difference between the Rabbanon and Deraisa? Do I take this truma and I burn it? If it's Deraisa, you burn it. The Rabbanon not. So Abaya is going to use this answer again, and Reb Yosef doesn't like that he's just answering this. Now what? We're talking about the Rabbanon. I'll bring you another raya. Toshma haboitzer lagas. What's a boitzer lagas? New video for boitzer lagas. Very, very short. It just shows you that the person didn't want the juice coming out of these grapes. What would a person rather? Keep the juice, use the juice, or let it fall on the floor? This juice is boitzer lagas juice. He didn't really want it to happen. So does it have the ability to impart to be machshel lekabel tumah or not? Shammai Omer Huchsher. Shammai himself, not Beisha. Shammai himself says it's machshel lekabel tumah. Hillel Omer lo Huchsher. V'shasik le Hillel Shammai. The Gemara says that he's mamish like forced, like by the day the egel was made. Now amai v'lav oichla b'mayim. But what's the problem? There's no water there. Why is it machshel lekabel tumah? You're right. You're right, there's no water and it shouldn't be deraisa work, but we made it, midirabbanan we made it. Rav Yosef, Abai's Rebbe, the famous Rav Yosef. I tell you that Reb Shimon says that the shechita alone is what gives it the hechsher l'kabel tumah. You don't need liquid. And I ask you why not you need water. You tell me it's the Rabbanon. And then and then Reb Zeir comes and proves it to you. You told Reb Zeir, the boitzer legas also a sok echshemayim. So then Reb Shimon ben Lakish asked if this clump of flour does it impart tumah or not. You should have answered yes. Midrabanan imparts tumah. Just keep on going with your theme. Shimon ben Lakish nami a sok echshemayim. Amar lei. Reb Shimon ben Lakish litlis coming by lei. Reb Shimon didn't have a question of midrabanan. It imparts. Of course, midrabanan imparts tumah, this clump of flour. I want to know. Reb Shimon Lakish want to know whether or not this clump of flour if you could burn it? In other words, is it a deraisa? Not if it's a derabana. So says the Gemara, Michlal, the Chibas HaKodesh, deraisa. It seems like Rish Lakish agrees that this clump is tamei midaraisa. Otherwise, he would have asked, what about the clump? Do you burn it or do you not burn it? He didn't ask, do you burn it? He asked, does this impart a rishon and a sheni? Does it continue? But the clump itself, he knew that it's a deraisa, that you burn it. Minalan. And where did he get that from? It says by shlamim that if the meat touches something that's tamei, it becomes tamei. And we have to understand, you have, Rabbi say, think about it, you have a carbon in the Beis HaMikdash. What are the possibilities of the meat in the Beis HaMikdash to become tamei? How? They have to have one of the 7 liquids. Where are they going to get the 7 liquids from? There's no honey in the Beis HaMikdash. The blood from the shechita, no good. The butter, what? Yayin on the thing. Okay. So the Gemara, water. What kind of water? Okay, so the Gemara goes through all the things. There's oil. How? There's blood everywhere over there in the Beis HaMikdash. We had this the other day. The blood of the karbanis doesn't have the ability to be machshir l'kabel tumah shenemar lo yisichleno al haaretz yishbechenu kamayim. It has to be something that spills on the floor like water. Only blood that spills on the floor. But blood that you try to catch and receive, kabbalah sadam. So that's not considered. So it's not machshir. Ela this kasher. So you're going to say this kasher mashkin beimet b'chaya. There's something in the Beis HaMikdash. There's a whole butcher section over there. Here, the stone, the stone thing, the marble, and this is the water of basement b'chaya. Not only are the waters tahar, that water doesn't have the ability to machshir l'kabel tumah. What we're saying that it doesn't have the ability. This mashke doesn't have the ability to be machshir. Say it was not referring to water; it was referring to blood. No, you can't say that. You're talking about plural, 2 types of liquids. What are the 2 types? Blood and water. It can't be just blood. It's mashke. It's also water. Elalav. So you see from here, the iskar b'chibas hakodesh. The iskar b'chibas hakodesh. You see from here that just the love, the shlamim becomes mukhshel l'kabel tumah, not from blood and not from water. Ella from it has to be a normal process. That's not a guy spilled the wine on him by mistake. The normal process of he became tamei, mukhshel l'kabel tumah from the love of kodesh. Yudima, perhaps, Rav Yehuda Mashmuel. Have a great case. You had a shlamim, and you brought it through the river. Why did you bring through the river? Bedavka. So if you're at the shechita, you heard they give the animal to drink right before the shechita. It makes it easier for them to flay it, to skin it. So you bring him through the nachal. You make him all wet. It has water from that river. Here we have a little bit of a video. It's not 100% accurate, but whatever.
Okay, you ready? 1, 2, 3.
Oh, it had some water. But the truth is that water...
Excuse me, I'm a little thirsty. Could I have just a drop of water?
Yeah, so maybe after the
Shehita.
You finally said it right. He's been working on that word for a while. Ella Miseifa. From then to the pasuk, Basar l'Rabbi Yitzim Levina. That the wood. Oh, I have levina here. Here's levina, shmak, frankincense. This is makabel tumah. Now, does anybody eat this? No, it's not edible. How could it be makabel tumah? It's not a kli. It's not food. What is it? B'habasar. I need a special word to tell me that they're mekabel tuma. Eitzim l'rabbis, eitzim l'vayna, even wood. Eitzim l'vayna b'nei achilin, they're not edible. Ela chibas hakodesh machshulu mishavilu oichel. It's the love of kedusha of kodesh that we have on the levina and on the wood, and that makes it like food to be mekabel tuma. Hachinami. So too in the case of a clump of flour. Chibas hakodesh machsharton. The love of kodesh gives it a hefshel mekabel tuma. Mai, and on that, Rish Lakish asks the question. Ki mahani daf lam zayin omad alf on top. Ki mahani chibas hakodesh. Wow, we're doing well. 57 minutes. Ki mahani chibas hakodesh l'psula de gufei. Aval mimno beirishim v'sheni loy. Maybe this chibas hakodesh from the Torah gives it a psul in itself, but it doesn't have the ability to impart tuma. Or dim aloishno, maybe it does have the ability to impart tuma. Take you. Tishvi Taretz Kushivi's boys. Rabbi have a wonderful day. A guten Shabbos, Motzi Shabbos at 10:02 and a half.
Merit the schus of spreading Torah throughout the world. Sponsor a shir today. MDYsponsor.com or sponsor at MDYDaf.com.